Welcome to this series of videos related to instructional methods in health profession education and teaching and learning methods. My name is Muhammad Hassan Taha. I am the director of the Medical Education Center at the University of Sharjah and the director of the Master of Leadership in Health Profession Education, as well as PhD in Health Profession Education. The aim of these videos, we are developing these videos for the Master of Health Profession Education and Master of Leadership in Health Profession Education, as well as for the PhD in Health Profession Education program. This is the start of this series, and we will be exploring in these videos different teaching and learning methods that we are using in order to educate our students. Today's session will be about effective lecturing and large group teaching in medical education. I'd like to start with these important findings and important study, which show that students prefer good lectures over the last technology in class, despite of the advancement that we have in health profession education, such as technology enhanced learning and so on. When we see this study, we'll find that there is strong rationale behind keeping lecture in health profession education despite of this advancement. And still, lecture is preferred teaching and learning methods by the medical students, because through the lecture, it gives the opportunity for the educators to share their experience with the students, and at the same time, it's also a good opportunity to provide an environment through which students they can interact and engage with each other. The remaining question here, is lecture is obsolete, or is lecture is bad, or the problem could be summarized as lecture is not bad, teaching and learning methods are not obsolete. The problem is delivering the lecture in a passive way. This could be a problem or could be a challenge. In this session, I'm going to explore with you an important techniques, framework that we can follow in order to deliver effective lecturing in health profession education. Also, there is a growing body in the literature showing that lecture is needed, and lecture could be an effective way of educating our students if we follow a right and appropriate framework. And the framework that I'm suggesting here in this session or in this video is called teacher framework. And as you can see here in the screen, teacher framework, you will find that start with a template, enthusiasm, attention, grabber, communication skills, humor, engage, recognize, and review. And the next slides, I will review together this teacher framework in order to make our lecture effectively. So let us start with the T, and the T is a template. When we design a template for the lecture, we have to think about three important elements: the introduction, the body of the lecture, and then the conclusion. And in the introduction, the aim of the introduction of the lecture is to tell what you are going to do and what you are going to say for the students. In a simple way, in the body of the lecture, you tell them, and in the conclusion, then you ask them and you tell them about what you told them during the session. So, in a simple way, you provide an overview, you brief learning outcomes in introduction, then you present your content in a body of a lecture, and then you provide a summary in the conclusion. So this is the teacher framework, and we explore the T. Now let's see the E. E is about the enthusiasm. If you are not enthusiastic about your own material, students will not be neither enthusiastic with what you deliver to them. So always we have to be enthusiastic with the material that we deliver to the students. It's very important to think about the attention grabber. What do you mean by attention grabber? It could be like the image here. If we want to explain maybe a fracture or any medical presentation, it is very important to present an image, X-ray, ECG, lab results, or whatever. We can use clinical cases as attention grabber for a lecture. We can use animation, image, movies, illustration as attention grabber. This is very important. Why? Because it allows students to catch up, break up the lecture content to delivery. And this is very important when we talk in this session about the cognitive load theory. Also, it is very important to maximize the learning and for the positive component of the cognitive load, such as Germin's load and so on. These very important things that we have to consider. Communication is the key. And for the communication, a considerable weight should be put to the body language, using the right body language, such as using the hand, the gesture, the facial expression, eye contact to the students, not reading from the slides, and so on. These very important things that need to be considered, not putting our hand in this way, or putting our hand in the pockets, or putting our hand in this way. So it's very important to take care of our body language. Voice is very important also to maintain our voice clear, and using the various level of our voice, and very important to articulate the message clear. This for the words. If you can see here, almost body language represents 55% of the message that we can deliver according to the studies. We have to smile, and we have to make our voice clear. We have to move, do rehearsal, very important, and consider the speech, the speed of our. It is very important to create humor, to create a safe environment, to create a peaceful learning environment, to make sure that students can speak peacefully. They can say everything. They can ask questions. Maintaining humor will help the learner to refocus and to focus on the message that you are delivering. And believe me, it will make the lecture more memorable. These very important things that need to be considered. Engagement is the key in large group teaching, because in large group teaching you have a many number of students, and it will be a challenge to make them engage, and particularly with this new generation and decrease in the attention span, engagement is very important. How to engage the students? You have to change the pace. You have to change the style. Use different format during the session. Maybe you can use small group learning, use activities, use game, use maybe the floating like Mentimeters or Ball Everywhere or whatever. You can integrate in technology here to do integrations, or you can use gamification also for integration. You can use multiple examples. And here it is the time to explain some stories and some experience here. Engagement is very important, because in which you can integrate integrating basic and clinical science also could enhance integrations, because based on the adult learning theories, relevance is the key elements of education. You can utilize and re-emphasizing the important concepts and point them periodically through the lectures. Also, this can lead to enhance the integration. When we talk about integration, we have to bear in mind the three elements of integration or interaction. Learner to faculty interaction, learner to the content, which could be the slides of the PowerPoint interactions, and learner to learner interactions. Whenever we think about integrations, we have to bear this in mind. How I do enhance engagement and interaction with me, other faculty, other facilitators, through using different styles, through the body language, and through different format of delivery. How to engage the learner with my content? Then I need to design my content in a way that will be helpful to be engaged with the learner. How to engage the learners among themselves? Use the exercises and the tools and the activities that help them to share their experience and so on. It is very important to look at this slide and to see that we have three levels of the cognitive load. This is from cognitive load theory. We have the intrinsic cognitive load, the extrinsic cognitive load, and the German cognitive load. The intrinsic cognitive load related to the difficulty of the subject itself. Sometimes we have difficult subjects by default. So the subject themselves is a very difficult subject. And the idea here is to simplify to the learner as much as possible by delivering the information in a simple way, because this will create intrinsic load within the subject itself. The other type of the load is the extraneous load, cognitive load, and we are the source as teacher of these loads by, for example, by distraction, by preparing a very poor slides in PowerPoint, poor teaching, and so on. And we have to reduce this as much as possible, or to keep it to the level of 0. Then we have the German load, and the German load here, it is related to the activity that help students to think, integrate, and apply the knowledge. And it helps them to have like a deep processing of new informations by integrating the concept. And here we can do exercise that can help our students to learn better. And here, for the German cognitive load, we have to maximize them. So, in a summary, we have to simplify the information for the intrinsic load to reduce it. We have to reduce any distractions, so that by doing so, we'll decrease the extrinsic loads. And for the German loads, which is positive, we need to do like exercise and activities and so on. These very important things that we need to consider. So we covered T, E, A, C, H, and E, and then we talk about R, which is for the recognize and review. So it is never hard to let the students stand and take a stretch break. You can ask them to stand and to take a stretch and to take a break and so on. And maybe so that they can get their blood moving and get their attention. Let the students always to know that you understand their feeling and need. This is very important to recognize and review what you are delivering, and also students should feel that you understand their feeling and so on. So we review the framework for teacher in lectures, and I found this framework is very helpful while delivering lectures. The next part of this presentation will explore with you some techniques that you can use during the lectures, so that you can maybe work in the German load, or you can enhance the way of delivery. You can use like a fishbowl technique, in which students in the fishbowl discuss the topic, while students outside the fishbowl, as you can see here, observe and reflect on the discussion of the students inside the bowl. This is one of the very, very important techniques. Another technique is think, bear, and share. You can ask question, then ask students to think about this individually, then they can talk with their peer about this question, and then they share to the entire group. Also, this found to be energizing for the lectures and make it a very, very energetic. Handout also is very, very, very important in making lecture effectively, but we have to design the handout in a way that also will be engaging and making the session interactive. How? We can use a fishbowl technique, and we can use fishbone technique for the handout, in which we can keep some elements empty while the students can write on the empty space. We can use it in this style, as we can see here in the screen. We should not put all information within this handout, so that we can keep spaces for the students to write on this handout. I want also to reflect on your experience with the handout and use the suitable way of the handout. And evidence from experiential studies and experience lectures suggests that interactive handouts are better than comprehensive handout for aiding recall and understanding. The final message here, take home message here from this video, always we have to be remembered with this proverb: tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. Learning is always about involvement. So it's very important to consider this while designing the lecture, while delivering the lecture, while evaluating the lecture, while you reflect on delivering your session. Thank you so much for watching these videos, and see you in the next video in this series, which will be about team-based learning.